Everybody.
Hi, Chris.
Welcome to our snazzy December edition of the VIVO Apps and Tools Working Group call. Let's see. So, Ted, you there?
Hi, Chris.
I saw you took my canceled off of December 29th. Are we having a call then?
I didn't mean to take it off.
I don't even know why it's there. It's actually we're scheduled. I looked at the calendar. Maybe I was wrong. Look at Google Calendar again. Where was it? I thought it was on it. Oh, here it was.
Wasn't this supposed to be? Yeah,
We're
just getting started. Wow. I thought that Chris hadn't.
It is on there for the 29th. Yes, so I guess that's the first announcement. I didn't talk with Ted, but I think most of us will be off on December 29th. Is that not the case? Silence.
Yeah, I won't be here. See for anybody else.
It's not as bad as having a phone call on Thanksgiving, but it was pretty close, right? So I, being a university employee, our university is actually closed at that time, so it's a very exciting time of year for us. So I also am joined here at the University of Florida by Nicholas Rejak and Andre Sura.
Hi, everybody.
Hi. Hello.
Just wanted to make sure everyone knew that they were here. And the other update that I wanted to give real quick before we jump into our presentations is that I'd like to recognize Paul Friedman as an official member of the Apps and Tools Working Group. So at the November call, I asked if anyone would like to be recognized as an official member, and Paul emailed and said, yes, I would like to be a member. So I wanted to just recognize Paul. Thank you, Paul.
Glad to be a part of it.
And again, if anyone would like to be officially recognized, which means getting your name on the wiki, as a member of the Apps and Tools Working Group, just send Ted or I an email, or both of us, or Paul, and we'd be glad to help. And there's no T-shirts that come with it yet, but I'm thinking about it.
Ooh.
So, all right. So Patrick, thank you very much for agreeing to present today. We're very excited. There's been a lot of talk down here at the University of Florida about facets, and I often talk about the work that you guys have done. So let me go ahead and presenter over to you.
Okay, got it. Let me close these windows first.
Hey, no problem. I just want to say, while Patrick is getting set up, I just want to say that usually I am on a conference call and during the hour before this call, and I wanted to say how awesome all of you guys are for understanding that you need to mute your microphones and your phones before while you're on the call. We have, this other call constantly has people put us on hold, and we can hear their hold music while other people are trying to talk. So thank you for your meeting etiquette. I very much appreciate that. All right, Patrick.
Okay. This is Patrick West. I'm with Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, which is in Troy, New York, but I work remotely from Lafayette, Colorado. So wanted to show off our use of ElasticSearch and FacetView 2. ElasticSearch is something like Solr, so it provides fast text-based searches using indices like Solr, but it's a lot easier to configure, it's a lot easier to use, it's a lot easier to update different pieces of information, and I'm hoping to get this started real quick. Hold on. If I can remember where I put it. Oh, there it is. Yes, no. I love it when things work. Oh, permissions. Okay, gotcha. So this is running on my local system. I mean, I'm going to show the production version, but I also wanted to show some different aspects of ElasticSearch. Hopefully. There it goes. Okay, so first I wanted to show off our new look for the production version of VIVO, which is what you're looking at. And eventually, you can all see my screen, correct?
Yes, it looks very nice. There's a looks like a map of the world.
Okay, good.
Lots of red dots.
Yes. Yeah, so eventually this map will be replaced with something like a slideshow that will show some different visualizations that are using SPARQL queries, generating some nice pie charts, word clouds, maps like this, et cetera, et cetera. And we're going to replace the statistics down here with something, whoa, that was weird, something that's more usable or that makes more sense for Deep Carbon Observatory. So this is the VIVO instance for Deep Carbon Observatory. Now, I'm not going to go in too much about what DCO is. Actually, you can read it right there if you want. I'll give you a moment. Okay, good enough. So a lot of these menus are replicated from our Drupal instance. So this looks a lot like Drupal. Oops, sorry about that. So our Drupal instance looks like this. So you can see some of the same menu items up here, the same logos and everything like that. So we wanted to make VIVO look a lot like the same as Drupal. So this is our data portal. And ElasticSearch, show you one real quick, is just a nice fancy faceted search mechanism for a lot of our data. So this is ElasticSearch. And the reason we wanted to go with ElasticSearch over Solr, I already went over that, didn't I? So this is all coming off of SPARQL queries that are generating documents that we can ingest into Elasticsearch. And those, we have cron jobs that run once an hour that updates the ingest, updates the Elasticsearch documents in the index. And the reason we do that is because our VIVO site is live. People are logging in, they're creating content, adding people, publications, data sets, projects, et cetera, et cetera. So this is just one of them. And it's very similar in a lot of ways to Solr, but it's faster. It's all based in JavaScript, and it allows you to create multiple indices. And so this one is for people, and then there's another one for publications. So here's the publication one. And it's really, really fast. I mean, there's 649 publications that are marked as contributions to the Deep Carbon Observatory, but there's 1,589 publications total. And so you can really see how fast it is, a lot faster than you would get with a SPARQL query or something like that. So ElasticSearch itself is, this is the interface to ElasticSearch, and you can, let's see where it is. Nope, that's our desk. There we go. So here's you create a mapping for the different objects. This one is a mapping for publications. And so you have different pieces of the document object or publication object, and you can have nested objects. So here you can see the authors, which is a nested object, and it contains name and URI, should be somewhere in there. Oh, there it is. So actually, yep, this is all for the author right here. And this is a sub-object within the publication object. So you can do a lot of good things like that. Here's another one, community, keywords, the journal that it's published in, an event that it was presented at, etc. And so this is called Marvel Sense, and so this gives you the capability of updating mappings, running tests, and things like that. So what you're seeing here for the actual facet view is something called FacetView 2, which sits on top of ElasticSearch. And this is where you would be able to specify your different facets, how many you would see in the facet, ordering, default ordering, and things like that. So again, it's really nice and fast. You can show different conference papers. It's going a lot faster than SPARQL queries would. Actually, we ran some tests also, and it's running faster than even the Solar index. So that was surprising, actually. And basically what this FacetView 2 is just a bunch of JavaScript. So there's no web services, there's no server-side functionality that you have to use to generate the facets. All this does is call services against Elasticsearch, which is where all the documents are. And so we have the people, we have the publications. Oops. Oh, this is publication. There's people, publications. We also have field sites. Oh, wait, I lost my screen.
Okay, it's back now.
Okay, good. So this is FacetView 2 over field sites. Field sites are projects where people actually go in the field, collect samples, soil samples, ice samples, core samples, things like that. So these are all the different sites that we map on this, and I don't think these are, oh yeah, they are clickable. So one of our students generated this map using OpenLayers, and so you can pop this up, and it all links back to VIVO, and we have handles for everything. So it has the handle for the Deep Carbon Observatory, so you can click on that, and it'll take you to the instance. And as you click on some of the different facets, show me all the field sites for Deep Life, and it'll of course update the map. And you can zoom in and do all the fun stuff that you can do with maps. So that's another one. One thing we do, whoops, oh yeah. One thing we do want to be able to do is do date time ranges, which is a little more complicated and using even Solar. But FacetView 2, there isn't a mechanism for specifying date ranges. So that's something we're going to have to add here soon. So we have faceted search mechanisms for datasets, data types, projects and field studies, field sites, publications, people, and I think that's it. Yeah, so we have 6 different faceted search interfaces right now. And it's really easy to set up. It's really easy to run the ingest scripts. It's really easy to pick up. We got a test version going in under 1 hour. That's how easy it is. So that's pretty much it for Elasticsearch. If people have questions, maybe how we got it working or whatever.
Incoming data looking like?
One thing that we did add in the sorry, go ahead.
If the ingest is so easy to do, does this mean that the incoming data is JSON in the right format that can be just inserted into the Elasticsearch?
Correct. Yeah, so we run SPARQL queries to grab the latest information, translate that into JSON objects, and ingest that into Elasticsearch. In one case for the people browser, we actually have a registration system for Deep Carbon Observatory. So when somebody's registration is accepted by an administrator, it automatically goes in and creates the person document to push into Elasticsearch. So that one's automatically done.
Now, did you have a lot of trouble making was there a lot of customization to transform the SPARQL output to JSON, or were you using some kind of Jenna library to output JSON and then just feeding that?
Really all we did was write some Python scripts.
Okay.
It was very simple, and we ran it against the Fuseki endpoint, and we get the response as a JSON object, and all we have to do is just translate that.
Yeah, so we have Fuseki. So you're using the JSON that comes right out of Fuseki?
Correct.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Well, you have to do a little translation. You can't just take the JSON response and shove it into Elasticsearch. You do have to do some munging.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
So Elasticsearch has its own database?
Correct.
And what is that running in? Which database are you using?
I believe it's Postgres. Yeah, we're using Postgres. It could be MySQL, but we're using Postgres.
Okay.
So in terms of integrating FacetView 2 into VIVO, could you talk a little bit about that? What you customized in the browse pages?
Sure. Yeah. All we did was go to page management, and we created some pages where we just put in. Let me see which one. Let's do people browser. So it's just an HTML page, and let's make this a little bigger. So you can see the JavaScript here for FacetView 2. It starts right here. So we have some other stuff up here about this interface and some other things. But it's pretty short. It's okay, maybe it's a little longer than I thought. Okay, there. So it's not a whole heck of a lot of JavaScript that we put here. Then there's JavaScript libraries that FacetView 2 provides.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a function right here for, let's see, where is it? Oh yeah, for putting in the result set. So there's the JavaScript here that's really simple. It just takes the JSON output from the Elasticsearch query, and we can format it however we want, which is how we did the map. So it's really, really straightforward and has some nice customization capabilities that we hope to take advantage of here soon, like the map. Cancel. Oops. Any other questions?
So Andre was like, so he's using VIVO to do that? And we're like, yeah, that's VIVO. He's like, really? That's VIVO? Or I'm like, yeah, that's VIVO.
Yeah, so some of the JavaScript, we have this about this interface, and it drops down like that. And eventually we'll have something up here that's running a SPARQL query and generating some statistics. There are this many publications from this many authors and this many countries, that sort of thing. So that'll all go on that VIVO page.
Have you had any complaints about the time frame from when you run your cron job to go SPARQL your endpoint and then update your index? We said there was an hour lag.
No, we haven't had any complaints. There was an instance where the cron job didn't run, and we didn't notice it for like a half a day. And then somebody said, hey, I'm not in there. And so we had to run it manually. But we fixed it. It works.
Cool, very cool.
And the index can be updated while it's being queried. So there's no need to do any kind of locking or anything like that while it's updating the index.
Wow. Do you know of anybody else that's using Elasticsearch like this? I meant for
Sorry, go ahead.
I meant for VIVO.
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, we use it in other projects. So we have Drupal pages or just web pages or whatever. But no, not in VIVO.
This is just made it to you, and we're experimenting with it right now. Although I need to get together with Stefan to clear up a couple of things. But I think this is the route we're trying to go.
I mean, it seems like a pretty straightforward approach that seems to work. That's pretty awesome, Patrick.
And the code that we have for doing the ingest and everything is in GitHub.
Oh, the magic.
The magic of GitHub. So it includes our ingest scripts, our configuration, the HTML that we put into the VIVO page, etc. And it's github.com, tetherless-world, and then you can find DCO Elasticsearch.
I will add that to the meeting notes as well.
I'm over here now. Okay. Apparently I can't type into chat while I'm sharing my screen.
I'll make sure that gets in the notes for the call.
Ah, there we go. I was in the wrong place, that's why. So there's the link.
Let's see if I beat Ted to getting it in the notes.
I'm interested to know who wins and what the prize is.
There is no prize.
Oh. And I also put a link to the People browser in the GoToMeeting chat, so if you want to include that.
Oh, absolutely.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Before you started using Elasticsearch, did you have another solution which was slower, or what brought you to Elasticsearch?
Well, we tried Solar because they have a built-in facet mechanism, but you can't have multiple indices. I mean, so the Solar that comes with with VIVO, sorry. But those objects are really, really flat, and so we would have to manually run queries against Solar to pull back the information we need to populate these pages, and it just got really complicated. So that was our first try. We also have another mechanism, or another faceted search called S2S that we developed in the lab, and it just runs SPARQL queries directly to populate the facets and the result set. But the more information you get into the triple store, the slower it gets. I mean, it ended up taking minutes to populate some of the facets and the result set, and so we decided, we can't do that. So then we found Elasticsearch, and it was so easy. Like I said, we had a test instance up in about an hour.
So is it possible, from your experience, to just have the triple store and then the JavaScript library which communicates with Elasticsearch? So I'm trying to figure out the role of VIVO in this entire project. VIVO is just used for humans to enter data, right? And then display this nice interface, which is an index, basically.
Right. Basically, we replaced the default tabs in VIVO, for example, for people or research or publications. We replaced those with the Elasticsearch FacetView.
I understand. Thank you. So basically you are addressing a similar issue that we are having, that reading data quickly from VIVO is slow. Therefore, we were thinking to cache the results of a query to a file and then another ingest process to use that cached file. But you are saying that, with your example, you're saying that Elasticsearch, it's another possibility for us too. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
so one of the things we wanted to try for S2S was to use, and I think it's called Redis, R-E-D-I-S.
Yeah.
It's like a, and to cache some of the results, but still the queries were taking a long time.
And Elasticsearch returns JSON, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so I mean,
You can return anything.
I'm sure it can return anything, but I'm saying, you know.
Let's see.
We're having
And it's actually RESTful too, so it's real RESTful services against Elasticsearch.
Yeah, our problem is we have a disambiguation algorithm, and we're trying to work on, and it's trying to return all the authors from VIVO with their first name and last name. The more, you know, it takes a long time.
Yep.
So.
And to get the ordering right, also.
Yeah.
And then you come to find out that if there's only one author, then there's no rank. So you have to make that optional in the query. Took us a while to figure that one out.
So this looks like a better option for us than the text file that we're using. It's run SPARQL query for 20 minutes, save to text file, reference text file from algorithm. So.
Yes, let's see. It takes a while to run. People. Yeah, there we go. So it takes a while. So first you have to run the query to get all the URIs for the authors, and then you have to run the describe query to get all the information that you want to put into the JSON object to ingest into Elasticsearch. That's why we only do it once an hour. I have no idea what this message means either. It doesn't seem to break anything, so I was like, yeah, whatever.
Well, cool. Thank you for showing this today. This is very helpful. We were kind of right at this point where we're trying to decide in a different direction.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's really simple. And from not knowing what Elasticsearch is to getting that test instance, that was an hour. That's how easy it was.
I don't know what Elasticsearch is, but I is one, right?
So send me an email if you have any questions or anything, and
cool.
Take a look at our GitHub repository.
Thank you, Patrick. Any more questions, folks, for Patrick? Well, awesome. Well, are you ready, Mr. Paul Friedman?
Sure. I have something to show you guys.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun if nobody's ever seen it. Show my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
LOD Live. Live on LOD Live.
That is it. I guess maybe some of you folks have seen this before, maybe not. This was something that we was presented during the Learning SPARQL Book Club, and it's been a lot of fun to use. They have it on GitHub. It's written by this guy from Italy, and you can see what it is. It's an experimental project to look at linked open data. So I'm going to show you the example that I first went through, and then just a quick use of it with VIVO. So starting here, really it just says you can search things from common larger RDF triple stores or endpoints. But here I'm going to the bioimages database at Vanderbilt. And so if I insert some URI here, it goes out and it retrieves that the RDF from that endpoint, and you can start looking at stuff about it. So this one here is an description of an organism having a global unique identifier, and this is a bicentennial oak in 1976, and it's over 200 years old. So that's kind of interesting. you can see that on these parts down here, certain attributes about it. This is a primary topic from FOF. This has it's 4 different types of things. So then you can see here it's a type of organism, living specimen, whatnot. It's in this collection and has occurrence. I think that's the one I wanted. Yes, I'm going to go to the has occurrence, and it has an occurrence here from 20. So here's a couple of other times. This is from 2010. This is from something else. But here we're just staying in the bioimages database. We're here, you can see who it was recorded by. There's some evidence about it. And then you see that it was done at this particular event. So you can see the subject, predicate, object. Right here it's located at. In described place. And then here's the cool part right now, and the fun part. This is now finally going outside of the bioimages database. So now we have connected, linked, open data. Because now we're at the geonames.org data endpoint. And you can see that this is also same as some other, this is the same as over here, this point, and here is the same as over here, which is now at DBpedia, and it just is fun to start playing around to look at the different endpoints throughout. Now, why is this interesting? Well, it's been interesting for me to learn at different ontologies that we've been looking at, and different endpoints. When I was looking at our VIVO configuration to see if I could look at this locally, look at our endpoint of things, I found out that our endpoint is just not set up correctly. But thankfully, the folks over at Florida have theirs set up correctly, so let's do the same thing for Mike, if you don't mind, for just half a second. So if I go to, I just have to move the control panel a little bit. Live. Let's do the same thing with some VIVO data. So here, there's Mike. He's got a bunch of different related by resources. Basically, that's those are the connections. You either have his types, where he's a buffo 1 or a buffo 2, which is also a nice thing. It's easy to find out what those things are. You know, being the entity, since you really never can read the buffo numbers. And then, of course, the related by bits. That these are all how it's configured over at Florida. We have this being no title here, nothing to show what this exactly is, but we can see that it's a relate, and what does it relate to?
Authorship, yeah, look at that.
Yes, the authorships. And then I started trying to find something that is not something that's not from in the triple store for Florida, and ended up finding that the endpoint for the UMLS to Stony Brook, at least yesterday, was dead. So you know,
oh, no.
It also is interesting to find things that are no longer up, and the problems with linked open data. But it's been a fun little tool to really get lost in and to play around with. I don't know what much, you know, we've had some uses for it in terms of learning a bit, but I thought it was a nice little thing to present to folks that are interested in linked open data.
If only we can make it to write SPARQL queries.
We can only write the SPARQL queries. And yeah, and it is an open source bit, so I'm going to, I set it up locally to just look at, to see if I can get my endpoints set up correctly. But there it is. Because, you know, it's hard to find, for these things to go to localhost.
Thanks, Paul. I'd seen this before, but I guess I hadn't quite dug as deeply as you did here, and particularly the part where you, start resolving data in a different namespace. That's a pretty neat way to, you hear people or see mentions of follow your nose crawlers and such, and it's a good visual way to do that.
I thought the most impressive thing was how you took a BAFO, which you had no idea what it was, and were able to resolve it and see what it is. That's one of the frustrating things for me, that was just pretty cool.
Yeah, that it just finally has a lot of information about what that entity finally is, and it quickly comes up to look at the, what this thing actually is. I mean, why? I mean, you've got one connection between Mike Conlin and Julius Caesar.
At tu, Brute.
Yes. Yeah.
Does it show any RDF XML representations of what you've drawn on the screen or anything like that?
No, just this so far. Well, at least I haven't seen that. Played around with some of these.
So was the author of this on the book club meeting?
No. This was just when we were going through a particular chapter. This was presented in terms of how to, look at ontologies.
Got it.
Yeah.
When just to refresh everyone, when does the Learning SPARQL book club meet?
We meet noon Central Mondays. We're on chapter 5 right now, so it's going kind of slowly, but that's nice because the discussions have been excellent. And I've been so excited about this particular book club. I think that Mike Conlin was the person who sent out the notice of another book club is being run by, I want to say Harvard, but I'm not entirely certain, for semantic web for the working ontologist. So I just got a note today that that there are 63 people in that particular that are interested in going through that book. So they're going to be broken into smaller groups. So if anybody is interested in that book club or the SPARQL book club, get in touch with me, and I will forward the information. If I'm still sharing the screen.
You are, P. Free.
This is me.
Let me get
I'll probably put that in the chat.
the notes real quick, too.
Yeah. I'll just put it in the chat as well.
Do you know when is that other one starting up?
Let's look at the email for here. Okay, the semantic web modeling is they're doing a planning meeting tomorrow. So I'm guessing it'll start early in the new year. Oh, great. Thank you, Christina.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just getting all this in the notes. Yeah, I've been wanting to get into the SPARQL workgroup one. I'm glad that it's going slower. Maybe I can catch up and join in.
That's a really well structured book.
It is. It is. I've used many of the examples, but I've never gone through it in depth like it sounds like you guys are doing.
Yeah. In the last class, we actually used a lot of Mike Conlin's SPARQL queries that page of things to show some of these examples in real life, like real life uses.
Yeah, I know for a fact that's where he got his SPARQL experience from. That book.
Yeah.
Well, does anybody have any more questions for Paul or Patrick that they were holding back on, but they just can't wait to get it out now? Does anybody have any announcements they'd like to make or any updates?
I just wanted to, in case people join late, our next meeting would fall on December 29th, when many of us will be on a holiday break, so we won't have a call then. So the next meeting of this working group will be January 26th, on same time, Tuesday, 1 p.m. Eastern.
Tuesday the 26th.
And I put the notes for this meeting in the chat in case anyone wants to go take a look at that, or also sign up for anything they'd like to share on the January 26th call. And I really want to say a special thanks to Patrick and Paul for preparing today. I know that it seems like they did it real quick, but I know that those guys are thoroughly professional, and I really appreciate you guys giving us great presentations today.
My pleasure, Chris.
Well, on that note, everybody, you have a happy holidays and happy New Year, and we will see you in the new year. And again, if you want to become an official member of the Apps and Tools Working Group, all you have to do is email one of the 3 existing members, Paul, Ted, or I, and we'd be happy to add you. That means right now you get your name gloriously published on the wiki as a member of the working group, and possibly at some point on a t-shirt. That's what I'm thinking about. Like, it'll be like a band t-shirt, but just for the working group. All right, everyone. Take care. Thanks again. All right. Bye-bye.
Happy New Year.
Bye.